Dude, showing me screenshots is not going to help. Hello.
Hey,
Hey. Ryan's trying to get in. I'm not sure about Demetrius or anybody else, but we'll roll through with it. All right. Not sure what's going on with Ryan, but okay. So, yeah. So
I can
right
wait.
now, what?
We can wait if we need to. It's not a big deal.
Give it a couple minutes. Yeah. Let me see if my bank has responded to me about the other thing. Otherwise, we'll just mail you a check because I
All
haven't
right.
even moved my.
Say again.
I haven't even moved my thing over to it yet. My Venmo is still on my old phone, so
Oh, I see.
I don't have it here. So it'll just be easier to stop at the bank and mail them a check, or overnight you a check or something. That way it gets there. I mean, I'll get because I don't have Venmo, so by the time I get home, the post office will be closed.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I got people sweating me out. That's all. I'm not
I know. Yeah, no,
trying to sweat you out. I'm just getting sweat out. It's my fault anyway.
no. Um,
So we got a CRM.
Yeah, so here's what happens. We had a Go High level CRM system that we were moving into, and then I don't know what happened, but there's a federal anti-porn legislation, oddly enough, that controls all texting and automated stuff. And somehow we got our phone number suspended, and I'm still fighting with that. And I can't do anything in that CRM. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, "Listen, here's what I need to accomplish throughout my entire business." And it laid out this whole thing with Zoho, which is like 90% of it, and a couple other apps. And we have, and I'll show you, I'll pull up on the screen now what Zoho won. Now, I don't know how many of these features you'll need access to, but just in terms of seeing what it does, this is the kind of power that we're available to work with. Um, and so I'm building, and I've built our form, which is what I'll show you today. That part's active, and I built our CRM. So behind the scenes, what I'm building in now is all the interconnections of you know, of just how everything plays and works together. And it gets pretty powerful. There's an email module. There's a whole bunch of other modules, but basically, I hope they have a good graphic for what it does. It's got like 50 different apps. Um, and so what it will do is so right now what the form does is the form enters it into the CRM and moves it along and then the CRM moves it along the pipelines. Um, but we have where's it's got to be a better one. Administration, directory, device management, bookings. We can do bookings. My calendar is run through there. Sales IQ, campaigns, social media, marketing organization, digital signing. Pretty much everything is in here. Probably only two or three of these you'll need to directly access, but the engine behind here runs everything. This also gives us an intranet we can chat through and gives us a few other things like that. So what I've built, and let me see who just beeped in. Was that Ryan? No, somebody beeped. Oh, oh, you beeped out and then beeped back in. Okay,
Yeah, I got cut off for a second.
okay, that's fine. So and we are recording this, but anyway. So well, we'll just get rolling until everybody else shows up. So here is our internal team form. So we have two primary forms, I guess, for lack of a better way of describing it. There is there's the team form and the website form. The website form much simpler, and this might even be more detailed than we want on the website form. Um, But basically, the seller fills out the form. We also have a buyer form. Name, email, phone, property address, how many units. There's going to be a condition radio box. I just have to fix that. Why are you looking to sell? Describe the property. There'll be another blurb in here that is the legal bullshit of you can opt out and please don't kill us and don't sue us and all that crap.
Okay.
And then submit. Then the team form, and the trick is they'll fill out, if they do, they don't have to, but if they fill out the web form and then you fill out the team form with more information, we're going to have to match. Like if you get the web form, like if somebody fills out a web form and sends it to us and you get it, make sure you match the common stuff as best as possible so the CRM doesn't make a second account. If it does, it's no big deal. We can always just merge them, but obviously it's easier to not have to do that. And we ask a lot of questions, and I'm building this out with we'll build this out over time with all the questions. And again, this is not what you're trying to do when you're live on the phone. This is just what you give, basically, at some point. This is eventually going to grow into all of what we want. Are there tenants or income? Here's your income section. It does a formula based on these numbers. Bathroom area, cosmetics, blah, 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 blah. So this form then gets all this entered into the CRM. And this is also key because up here, team member name. This is what locks it as your lead. Now, if
just like on the other form, just like on the spreadsheet, we put our name up top. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Email.
This log, and I'll have a VA move the spreadsheet over and whatever. And then there's a set of pipelines, which I didn't actually prepare to show, but I can search them if you want. But basically, it'll say, okay, when they fill out this form, they're a lead. When we get more information, they're a prospect being worked. We're expanding their information.
Right.
And
they move down the pipeline, the sales pipeline.
Exactly. And we have a task manager software in here that, and by the way, all of this is like $400 a year, $500 a year. So it's like fairly way cheap.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And that's for the 40 something apps and whatever. Now, if I have to add users, it depends what I have to add users to, like, whatever. Like I can, anyway, we'll figure the details out. The basic part is, and then we have a task manager, which each property gets subtasks basically. And in those subtasks, we can assign, the tasks and say, okay, and this is where in the licensing, non-licensing space, okay, this is a licensing activity that when we hit this task, Ryan or Steve have to be the ones to do it.
Right.
When we hit this task, it can be assigned to blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if the assignments are automatic right now. I know how to do them manually. So you probably got an email from Zoho last week saying, hey, blah, blah, blah. I can resend that if you didn't. It's just like it's just a thing that you can then access this with, basically. And I don't remember. I did this on Friday, and after the weekend, I don't remember if I got your emails in there or not.
Oh, I saw your form. Yeah, did you want me to sign up for it, or was I supposed to be able to just log right in?
Well, so when in Zoho, it sent you an invitation form. But just hang on right now because I want to make sure that it sends you the one for all the accounts. But in Zoho, it should have sent you a hi, welcome to Zoho Teams, I think it's called, or Zoho. They have some stupid names, but something like that. That one I definitely want to have you log into and join as a sub member, I guess they call it, because it's the unpaid member, whatever they call it. And that way we can assign you tasks and you can complete the task and you'll have access to the data you need and whatever. The reason I'm being a little bit careful what I assign people to is, frankly, this is how I run all my companies, or how I will be running all my companies. So I obviously want to make sure people, see what they need to see. And also, so basically, the process will be that you will do this form and go back to this form as many times, maybe not this form link, but go back and add information because it's always going to get added. We have a single line. We have why do you feel this rehab? These are questions for you for the most part. Link to the drive pics, other link, Gmaps, Zillow link, Google link. I got to add a PropStream link in here, yada yada. Ways to upload PDFs and stuff. And with this, we're collecting the information. With the CRM, we're keeping everything on track, which is attached to it. With the task assignments, we're saying, hey, we all wake up in the morning, and you'll also be able to back assign certain tasks. Like, hey guys, I can't do this. There's also a messaging software inside this. Or, hey guys, I've taken this one as far as I need to. Let me back assign this over to Ryan and Steve because whatever the reason might be.
Right.
And it keeps it all within one ecosystem. It also has an AI, very minor, honestly, AI component that connects it. It's Zapier and something else that connects it to other apps. And honestly, I haven't gotten to that part of the build out yet. Literally, ChatGPT laid this out for me. It's like, we're going to use Zoho 40 for this, and you're going to use this for that. I'm worried about the stuff that we get running. But so right now this exists, and I will send you a web link to this. So let me send you an invite to this as soon as we hang up. And then there'll be a web version of this. There will be a web version of the team site, which is just for our guys. And there'll be a web version of the public website, which is for
Right.
everyone. And then
that's where we'll fill out the form.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the public one.
Yeah. So the public one only has very limited questions.
Oh, okay. So ours will have the detailed ones you were showing. I got you.
You'll use the detailed ones, whether you log in and go that way, or if you just keep, the public one on your, on your desktop, or basically this one and the web-based version. So this is the internal version. This one and the web-based version actually go to the same place. So It's like, I don't care which one you use. Now, I might learn there's a reason down the road why we care, but right now I don't think we care. Because it's the exact same form. It's just one is an HTTP front end and one is this other thing, which is still HTTP. But so one can be accessed by anybody without logging in, and this one can't, basically.
Got it.
And then you will also have, and I haven't gotten to learning this that deeply, the ability to jump things. So naturally, you fill out this form in completion. Now, you can enter it without being completed. None of this is required. So it's what you have, what you don't have. But at a certain point, this will automatically jump to the next part of the sales pipeline. But if situation arises and you're like, hey, this one is in phase 2 of the sales pipeline, it needs to be in phase 4. Or oops, it shouldn't be in phase 4, it should move back. You'll have the ability to log into your deals and go, boop, boop, move it around. And that will have, probably by the end of June, that will have automation triggers that go along with it. So when it pops into sales pipeline 3, it starts sending text messages or it starts doing some things. And most importantly, what this will do is this gives Ryan and I a place to look so that when you say, hey guys, how are we doing on checking on this property? We're not looking at you and saying, what property? Like, even though we know
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I've just been like, I don't know. I used HubSpot for a while and I could see how we kind of move things along. And I've actually used other CRMs like at other jobs and companies and stuff in the past. So I'm pretty familiar with these CRMs at this point and following along with like, okay, well, we can move the needle here. We're at this part of the process now. This person signed, they all signed. Now you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So that's kind of what, and it just makes things so much easier, because the nobody has to even worry about, oh, where were we at? Or the worst thing that I'm the worst at is getting addresses mixed up with different people. It's the worst. So with the CRM, that won't happen.
Yeah. And because I'm not, I'm not a people person, Ryan will say, well, what happened with Tommy? I'm like, okay, who's Tommy? Oh, this address. Oh, okay, now I understand. Now this one that I'm showing, oh yeah, exactly. So this one that I'm showing, I went to yesterday. We signed up yesterday, and these are kind of at a funny angle just because I'm trying to get the roof in the pictures. But so basically, we walked through this one. This one's in a state, and we'll be able to go into more details on this one. But, you know, this is sort of when we go on site with a property. Oh, does it really have audio? How do I mute it? Anyway, so that's so like this one I have to enter in the form and get all of its information in so that we can kind of move it along. All right, so now let's just take a stop and kind of cover the ones you've got, Athens and whatever. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So all right. So basically, you know, so obviously, great job on getting Buena Vista finally hit the finish line.
I know. How about that, huh?
And Ryan and I, and this isn't really directly related to you, but we had one come in last week, and the seller kind of got a little bit upset because I guess I phrased something where he's like, "Oh my God, this is," you know, I told him, I said, "We might have to come over a couple times," which Ryan and I covered with that in the initial conversation. But now he got all kinds of like antsy. So we did one showing. We told him, "Listen, we'll do one showing on Sunday, and that's it. If you don't like what we have after Sunday, we're done." So we got that one under contract, and now it's a matter of pulling teeth a little bit, just trying to get this buyer to put his deposit in.
I see.
And you know, this is one of those guys, like, you know, the $4,000 deposit is probably what he spends on a weekend with his girlfriend.
Right.
Like, there's, I mean, if I could explain, if you know, I could explain, but you know, if explaining to the seller how much money this guy has mattered, it won't to the seller. But like, this means nothing. He will do it. Pedro will always follow through. But at the same time, until he puts that deposit in. So one of the things when we're building out the pipeline trigger is that's a stop point. You know, contract signed, yes. Deposit in place, no, maybe not.
Yeah, right. But we'll be able to clearly see that.
We'll be able to clearly see that, and Zoho also has a file management system, which I think integrates with the email. I'm not sure. That literally, when his title company says, "Yes, I received the money," then
We'll get those documents in our little public file that we can all access and use if we need to.
Exactly. Right now, I use a software called, which is one of the reasons I'm going to this, is because I'm paying. Oh, come on. I'm paying $60 a month for this app, which stores all my documents. And it's like a mini CRM. It does a great job of storing documents and keeping all my transactions in check and who's done what and little check boxes and whatever. If I used it better, it'd be a lot better. But there's this whole thing where I can open up any transaction and I can look at all the documents that have been uploaded to it. And I can look at, you know, if the person filled them in, I could look at the check boxes. I was the one who didn't fill them in, so it's my fault. So we'll be able to look in and say, oh, here's what's on the signed contract with the seller. Because a lot of times, you know, Ryan and I will get a call from title or from somebody and say, so what exactly is on the contract with the seller? And you know, we have to go back and digging in records, and this just makes that much easier.
Right. It'll be assigned to their name, you know what I mean, or phone number, so, or an email.
So yeah, Ryan's just having trouble getting in, but yeah, so we'll have all of that in here, and it will actually have everything. Like literally, it'll be the entire life cycle. And the beautiful part about this is it also ties in with their financial, basically their version of QuickBooks. So we'll be able to generate the 1099s at the end of the year very easily, and which I need to actually send you a 1099, have you fill it out before I forget. Let's do that right now, because otherwise I will forget. But also, what am I trying to say? So you'll also be able to look in and say, oh, based on the projected spread, the projected commission is this, the projected this is that, the projected that is that. So it'll really kind of bring everything, or it is bringing everything into a head. The only reason we're a little slow on it right now is I bought into the wrong package, and then I went to upgrade to the right package, and the software isn't really recognizing that I bought the first package to prorate. So the company just has to fix whatever that glitch is. I mean, they're being very helpful, I have to say, amazingly helpful, but whatever. So is Athens the first one you want to talk about?
I mean, that's the one that I just got with this guy. I'm waiting to get a solid answer from some of these guys. So like a lot of these people I just hit up, they're all just kind of like one guy's got somebody still in contract, and this guy wants 100K. I mean, that one seems promising, uh but the other one's definitely, I mean, he can't do anything till the 10th of July apparently. So, um yeah, Athens, I mean, he wants 100K, you
Yeah.
know.
And there was that Avoca lady a couple of weeks ago, and this is the other reason with CRM is we'll never forget anyone again.
Right.
But we should dig back, if you can dig back and kind of give Avoca a call and find out where they're at.
Okay.
But again, sadly, we're going back to text world, but that's why I'm digging. That's why I haven't really been interacting too much on the specific deals. I mean, I'm available if you need me, but I'm like, all right, I got to focus on getting the software done.
Yeah, for sure.
Because unfortunately, I went to Fiverr and somewhere else, well, Upwork, and I'm like, can I find someone? And they're like, oh yeah, $9,000. I said, oh, 9,000 no's to set this up. I'm not paying
Yeah.
20 years of 20 years of what the software costs. Not going to happen. So, and all right, so what is Athens? Let's see where it is.
I resent it over.
Yeah, I see here, it's 3.2. No, so it's the 3.2. There it is. So ARV of 155. Did you fill this in, or was this already there?
I try to fill it in the best I can. They didn't have an offer. I mean, they didn't have an amount they wanted that time. So I tossed something in there thinking hopefully we could offer them 35, but they weren't giving me, that's what I mean. Like they're not giving me straight answers sometimes. So sometimes I can't fill
Yeah.
everything out. You know what I mean?
No. I just want to make sure that wasn't like an orphan from before, from like a previous version of the spreadsheet or something. So it last sold in August 2019 for 96,000. Okay, so they're basically looking to get out of there. I mean, assuming, and we all know, assuming it's a bad plan with these, but assuming that's true, there's no way we can give them 100.
Yeah.
Because,
I
yeah,
seem kind of high.
yeah. I mean, I mean, so and here's why. Just on the simple. I mean, forgetting everything else, we're going to put out 100. The lender's going to charge us 15 grand. That's 115. We're going to sell it for 150, and we're going to lose 8% of 150. So that's another like 12. So 115 just became 129. So 129 to simply take possession of the property and then take responsibility, insurance, taxes, utilities. If we didn't touch it, at best case scenario, someone's making $10,000-$15,000. And that's a lot of risk for that pretty small return.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think that's what their like best case scenario price is. They might go lower, but they might
yeah.
not. So. But if
I
they
mean,
did,
yeah. I mean, they truly don't have to, because looking at this, they shouldn't be talking to us. They should be talking to an agent.
right.
And also I'm not sure, because I have to see what Athens looks like, but I'm not sure. I'm seeing painted paneling here. I think that's painted paneling. I mean, the place looks good, but it doesn't look like dipped in gold phenomenal. That roof is clearly over 20 years old. You can always tell age roofs because the coloring is
Right. It's faded and discolored and stuff.
faded, it's discolored, or it looks too flat. It doesn't have that bumpiness that you want. Or obviously if it's rippled or curled or any of that crap. So I mean, this is a nice house. 100 grand for an end buyer is a great price. 100 now. Could we lock it up and just? I mean, could we lock it up and just try to find could we lock it up for 100 and say, let's try to find a buyer for 115 who's an actual direct buyer, not a flipper? Yeah, we certainly could. I'm not saying we wouldn't take the contract, but I think we would keep the contract to a very, very short turnaround time, because I just an investor is not going to look at this and say 100 gets me where I'm going.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Now,
you
what
know.
if the guy came down? Well, we could get him at like 80 or something, maybe.
Oh yeah, I
Seven.
mean, if we can get them down, like, because so the way the math works is let's just stick to this. We'll use the 146 as the example. So the way the math works, and I think the spreadsheet might do this. So if 155 is the ARV, then oh, I didn't do the ARV math in here, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. All right, so I got to throw on here the ARV math, but I'll put it here for a second. So if the ARV, oh, I'm on view only.
I think there was a lot of missing numbers too. I'm not in front of my computer at the moment, or I would go in and change that.
Well, so whenever you share them,
You should be an editor. I make you an editor every time.
that's
You should
weird.
definitely be an editor.
And of course, you know what? You know what I can do is I can always go to Sheets, and I can just search Athens. If I go in from here, it should definitely. If I log in from here, it should definitely have me as an editor. Interesting. All right. So anyway, so I'll just do a new sheet real quick, and I'll just show
Huh.
you what the I mean, and this is the other thing. We'll be away from this system as well. We'll be all in the CRM.
Yeah, everything will be in there, so this will be 10 times easier. We won't have to fiddle with none of this. We really won't have to send emails either. We're just going to
Yeah,
be updating the CRM and filling out notes
there's even a
and
chat module if I ever get around to figuring it out. So if the ARV
right.
is 155, no, that's assuming that's a middle ARV. And because they said 148, we'll use that. Then the flipper needs to be dipped in gold, done out the door for 70% of 148. So the flipper needs to be out the door, and that's rehab and everything for 103. And then if you have rehab, holding, which sometimes holding is in the 70%, but I like to make it separate. Purchase expenses, which is a 2%, but more like 3% of the purchase price. So we'll just put in $3,000. $3,000. So holding, what's tax and insurance? A couple grand. Rehab. Now going back to the pictures of Athens, wherever that went. So if we're now, I don't know what dipped in gold for this neighborhood is, but there's not a lot to do here. You know, you've got some painting here. If I zoom this in, those are definitely paneling stripes. So I don't know if the market needs it, but that room could be drywalled. So really, I'm looking at probably, I don't think I'm looking at more than $5 a square foot for painting and flooring, because most of the painting and flooring is actually in pretty good shape. You know, it's probably not new paint because of that, but whatever. And then, you know, my kitchen. Okay, the cabinet, you know, the kitchen's very 90s, but not bad.
Right.
You know, the countertop. I mean, again, what is dipped in gold for the neighborhood is what we really have to look at. We have to look at and say, okay, what does the neighborhood bring us for kitchens?
Probably about the same thing, maybe.
About the same thing looks like, yeah. You know, and that house sold for, ooh, where'd it go? That house sold for last sale NANA. Of course it's NANA. Bite me.
Yeah, their whole
Um,
thing's like not. There was no information.
yeah, and of course that also gets you. But then we could also just look on you know, we could also go back here and look 115, 140, 140, 113. So really 150 is a strong number in that neighborhood. I'm going to go for the largest number, which so far is 175. So 175 for a two bedroom in this neighborhood is probably about as dipped in gold as they get. Um, and even that still looks like a top mount sink. If you look at the sink, if it's a top mount, it's almost always not granite, because most people, when they do granite, they do the undermount sinks. So
Okay.
basically, you probably don't have to touch. I mean, you don't have to touch this house probably to get 150 for it, but that leaves us back to, you know, if we're going to not touch the house, we have to get it for 103, or the flipper has to get it for 103.
Right.
We have to get it for like 70 or 80. Now, and that's if no one's going to touch the house. Because 70, so if we get it at 80, we sell it to them for 90. A flipper might have 10 grand to throw at it and be able to move it out the other side. Um, you know, and just, so the flipper needs to be all done for 103. If they're going to throw 10 grand, which I don't think there's a house in the world you're not going to throw 10 grand at. And by the way, we're hoping the roof doesn't need any work. We're hoping nothing else needs any major work. So yeah, an offer of like 88.6, is the most a flipper could do based on this. So we would need to be like 75, 80. Or I should say 75, 80 absolute max. I'd rather be a lot lower. Now, going back to the reality, because this is what got Ryan and I, there's a Plymouth property we were called on, is it last sold for 96,000, August 19th, 2019. Assuming they bought it with a mortgage, they're owing way more than 80. We could look into mortgage calculator, but they probably still owe about 94.5.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because and if you look at an amortization schedule, and I don't want to go too deep in the complicated stuff right now, but we can. But basically, your first several years of a mortgage, all you're doing is paying interest.
Right.
It takes you 5, 10, 12, 14 years into a mortgage before you've paid it down enough where you're actually making a dent in principal. I forget what the curve is, but it's absurdly little. It's like $10 a month you're taking off your actual principal. So, could we get them lower? I mean, the only way we have a long way of saying, the only way we have a song to sing here is if we get them lower. I mean, we can certainly take it. Whether we should morally or not is a different question, but we certainly can take it and say, hey, we'll give it a shot for a few weeks and see if any of our investors want it. But we can't honestly say to them that we can buy this house and, that we can say, hey, we can put it under contract and send our people over, which is the vague way of saying we're going to send our buyers. But in truth, I don't think there's a play on this, unfortunately.
Right. Unless he's willing to bend a little bit.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. He has to be willing to bend at least, I'd say, 20 grand. And truthfully, there's no reason he should. I mean, we can try, but there's no reason he should.
Right.
Now, we've not done. I mean, this is a perfect, finished house, and there are buyers who will buy retail off market. I've not done a lot of those, but I mean, certainly if he were to sign a contract at 100, we'll give it a try. I wouldn't do a 4-week contract. I'd do like a 2. I'd say from the day the lockbox speaks to you, give us 2 weeks. If you can't, because he should be signed with a realtor right now. That's where he should be. And where is Athens, PA?
Right above Wilkes-Barre, I think.
It is. Oh, it's toward the border. Oh, it's in Bradford County. Okay, all right. So it might actually be in my MLS. Oh, we do have Athens. Okay, so let me pull that Athens address up and put it in our system. See what we have for actual comps on it. It's weird. I think I know every town on my market. I guess I don't. Well, it's more. It's okay. Okay, so none of those were what I thought they'd be. And this is when when you get licensed, you'll be able to, this is Flex MLS. It might be, yeah. Well, you'd have this, and then you might also join an MLS out there, but whatever. I'm just going to run comps in the area, so we dump all of that to all the brokers or all the boards. Residential, add field, status, closed. Let it think for a while. 2? Really? 5? Really? That's all you're going to give me? All right, so 3-2, 137, 206. Both in the same ballpark square footage. By the way, 2 is not a great quantity of comps, obviously. But if we take the higher of the one, if we say 206, what's that look like? What's this write-up tell us? 3 bedrooms, new roof, new windows, new heating system, new flooring, new kitchen, new vinyl siding, new bathroom, fresh paint. Yep, granite tile. So, I mean, dipped in gold, it's an ARV of 200. More of a, well, let's see what's an average price. And obviously, kitchens and bathrooms are always your telltales. That's not a dipped in gold ceiling. That's not probably not a dipped in gold floor. Yep, that's not a dipped in gold. So, right now the house is going to sell at 130, 140 number. If you did, like this house is everything top to bottom for 200. So even if we go 200, and the rehab, roof, furnace. I don't know about the windows in Athens. We'll just look at the windows real quick. Basically you'd be looking at probably 15,000 for the roof. You'd be looking at another 10,000 inside at least. You'd be looking at, I don't know about the furnace, but let's say another 10,000 in other stuff. Then again, you're back to the most the flipper could spend is $100 grand. So either way, there's not, either way, there's not a lot of room here, because either, even at 100, we don't even if the flipper was going to dip it in gold, we don't make any money giving him 100.
Right. We got to get him at least an 88. 84.
I personally, anything above 80, I think we just tell him we can't help him, because remember the 88 was based on only $10,000 in so here's the thing, 88. This is the flipper number. If we want to make 10, the max. If we want to make 10,000, the max offer is 78. Now, if I go 200, and I say I'm going to spend, my average is 50 grand in flips. Yeah, the max offer is actually lower, truthfully. So like we've got, if we don't have them in the 70s, I don't think we have much of a shot. Even then, we might be stretching it. But if he's willing to play in that neighborhood, great. Now, this is a perfect one though, because we can list this for him.
Right. Maybe I'll send him a message and try to get him to come down on price, and then if not, I'll I'll try to get him to take the listing route with us. And then,
Well, no. This is, again, this is, you're not licensed.
oh, right.
This is set up a three-way text and I'll jump in. You can't be
Okay.
negotiating with sellers. You can't be saying, hey, let's talk listing. You're not licensed.
Okay. What do you want me to do in the meantime?
So set up a or wake up the three-way text and just put like Ryan said, put the address in it so I'll remember which one it is.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to see if there is a legitimate. Ooh, it's still an hour and a half from Scranton. The reason I'm looking at this is I didn't realize his drive time was going to be that killer. Yeah, so put in the group text which one's Athens, and I'll talk to the guy. But basically the answer is going to be, sir, in order for us to do an off-market transaction, you would have to come down probably 20 grand. We could try to find an end buyer for you, but you may be better served by an agent. We are willing to list you. And here's why the drive time matters, though. Is it really worth an hour and a half drive out there to meet with the guy? And number one, and number two, can we now? Actually, this might be up. This might be right up Ryan's alley. Because I keep forgetting he's New York. He's New York licensed, and this is kind of his territory.
Got it.
So yeah, so kind of wake up the three-way text and just remind me. It's put Athens in there.
All right.
And then do you have any other deals you wanted to go over?
Not right now. I have 3 other people that I need to follow up with that are in my email right now. So I was gonna go get with them this afternoon and